With this project, we aim to redesign Yelp into a simpler, more user-friendly, more hip app designed around the motif of a newspaper. The inspiration for the concept of a newspaper was based on the popularity of retro revival. For example, so many young people are buying record players and cassette tapes right now. We wanted to channel this fondness for nostalgic media into our restaurant-finding app redesign, and it provided both inspiration for the aesthetic aspects of our app and its functionality, like its clipping function, which I'll discuss further as I walk through our prototype. Our tasks were centered around the need for a user new to a city or in another way unfamiliar with the city to find a place to eat. The primary task example we worked with for the project was of a young woman having just moved to Kitsilano for work on a tight budget and looking for some delicious ramen in her neighborhood. This task of finding food in an unfamiliar city brought up requirements such as the system would need to allow users to look up businesses based on various criteria. The system should allow users to see ratings and previous reviews of businesses they look up, and that the system should allow users to save businesses they're interested in into a form of a favorites list so they might easily access them in the future. Our prototype needed to meet these requirements, among several others, as well as being a functional, medium-fidelity prototype to meet our evaluation goals of assessing what features create friction for users, and importantly, to what extent is the process of navigating and using the app intuitive. Since our evaluation goals were focused around how enjoyable, simple, and intuitive our app is as a whole, given that users are both new to the app and to the context in which it's being used. For us, that meant we needed to build out as much of our app's functionality as we could in this prototype to give us the clearest picture of how it was to use. Without further ado, let's get to the prototype itself. We'll be looking through this app as it's used in the steps from our usability study, though in the order they appear on the app rather than how they appear in those steps. You'll immediately see on our nearby page the design inspiration from newspapers and our desire to really pare down and simplify what an app like Yelp might include. On each main screen you'll see in this prototype, we've included an eye icon to define terms and introduce that page's function. Every news ad is clickable, allowing our users in the evaluation to explore as much as they needed to find the restaurants they were most interested in. Once they found a restaurant, they just had to click on it to learn more, see reviews, and to clip the restaurant, which was our users' next step in the study. Clipping is our app's version of favoriting, inspired both by Pinterest's pin function and the idea of people clipping out newspaper articles, drawing again on that retro revivalism. Once the clipping icon is pressed, the user is told that it's added to their clippings. This is a faked aspect in our prototype, as it's not actually added to the clippings page, but that's because our goals were mostly focused on users' exploration of all the app's features. As you can see again, the I button defines terms on the page, such as clipping, and we included that because we received group feedback that this specific feature had the potential to be confusing. On the search page, users had the ability to find restaurants by price, low to high, to demonstrate to them that filtering would be an option, while this feature is not fully built out. And they could also search by key terms like Italian food, which again, due to the limitations of Figma and our evaluation goals, was faked and not fully built out, but the user was still able to see that these filtering and searching would be functions in a finalized app. Finally, this is our profile page. The tasks we gave our users here were to explore their previously rated restaurants, ones they would have previously given reviews to if actually using the app, and to add friends to their profile. Of course, these functions were only built out to the point of the user knowing they'd exist and how they might be used. As for example, you wouldn't be able to import contacts using this prototype, but it still supports our evaluation goals of assessing what tasks might cause a user friction and seeing overall how intuitive the app is to a new user and what features facilitate that intuitiveness.